I need you to go to the door. There's somebody to deliver something for Maya.
All right, sir. Is the person outside?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Sean.
Hey, come on. I'm just making sure you're ready to jump on and help me do admin for this meeting.
Okay, okay.
Hanifa told you, right?
No, she didn't.
She said she told you. Okay. Yeah, I needed a little bit of help for the job fair panel.
Okay, okay. I'll come online now.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Hello, hello, everybody. We're about to get started soon, just waiting on a few more people to join in, and then we'll get started. It's a pleasure to have everybody here today, and within a few seconds, we'll jump right in. So just letting a few more people join up. You know how we are with this timing thing, but we'll manage. I also like to make sure we start on time as well. With that being said, I like to be spicy. I like to make sure that we're all getting active on here. So please feel free to say hey on the chat. I'm glad to have everybody here. Exciting times. So I'm not sure what the settings are, but let's just make sure we're following decorum and that we're keeping everybody, you know, just keeping yourselves on mute and whatnot. And then, you know, just so we're not interrupting anybody's workflow. So I guess with that being said, as more and more people are joining, I'll just kind of start the conversation on my side to get us into this thing. So again, I'm just really happy to have everybody here. I wonder, did anybody have a chance to take a look at the thing that we did yesterday with Ingressive Capital? It was a grind. It was 4 hours, but we really jumped into what it's like to start up your company, especially if you're looking for investment and different stuff like that. So I know a lot of us are looking for work now, but in the future, the thing that we were working towards should also contribute to us having the capacity to build our own future, build our own companies. And that's the type of information that would help you when it comes to the long-term planning part. So for anybody who hasn't seen that part, please feel free to jump in, look for that online. I think it may be on the Ingressive Capital website or social media, but I believe you'll be able to watch the follow-up session of that one. So I'll give about 1 more minute and then I'll go in through my full spiel and then we can go from there. So all of you that are on, if you have some people in your community that you know are supposed to join with you, go ahead, reach out, ping them, let them know that we're about to get started and we're about to jump in. So I also know in some places, I think we have a, what do you call it? We have I think we have a YouTube link for this as well. So we'll be saving this and people will be able to rewatch and see it and all that good stuff because we got some great things coming up. So wait about 30 more seconds and then I'll jump into my full-on speech. Uh-oh, I4G above, welcome, welcome, welcome. I love to see when our I4G ambassadors and community members jump in. If anybody else is from one of our I4G circles, go ahead and shout your circle out. Don't be shy. All right, so it is 3:03 p.m. Let me just go into my part. So basically, I would like to officially welcome you all to the Pre-HackFest Job Hack Workshop. As a lead up to our rolling job fair taking place over the next month with some amazing partners, we are jumping in today to basically go into a couple of points that we see as quite important when it comes down to finding that new job landing that new job through either A, having an amazing CV, or B, or after the CV part, B, if once you get called up for that interview, we want to make sure you have the skills and the understanding to make sure you shine in that interview process. And then from a higher up level, we want to make sure that you understand how to effectively have your own personal professional development path. What are some of the things you should be looking for when going forward? So before I jump too far into that one, I definitely like to give a shout out to our HackFest sponsors. So we have Team Apt, and we also have Mono supporting our annual HackFest this year. So Mono sponsored our hackathon, and they are a financial infrastructure company. One of the first infrastructure companies, from what I can see. I'm sure there may be one or two before, but they're the ones who kind of nailed things down. And what I really, really, really love about that is there's been a lot of talk about fintech, but a lot of it was remittance. I think Mono represents actual financial technology. So I'm really happy to have them here supporting us in this event. Also, Team Apt, Nigeria's largest digital bank, is sponsoring I4G's 2021 Tech Awards. We'll be announcing more about that during Sunday's HackFest. But again, we've identified certain key areas that we want to recognize and support in the tech space. We feel like it's a great way to say thank you for those who are acting as pillars of the community. And we want to continue to push people and understand and let them understand that we are paying attention and everybody's looking. I also want to thank the representatives of Tambourine, Ariba Jobs, and Blackpin for meeting with us today to give us some best practices that will, again, increase the chances of us all getting a job. I4G is focused on placing 5,000 of our community members into jobs over the next 5 years. So as a part of that goal, we've partnered with these amazing recruitment companies to ensure that they're aware of I4G's program graduates when it comes time to place amazing candidates. So just understand that, again, with all the work and different things that you guys are doing all the time, that we're pushing you to take these classes, get these certifications, graduate from our programs. We're doing that, but we're also working behind the scenes, again, with these amazing companies to ensure that when you come out on the other side, somebody's looking for you to try to see if you are the next candidate for an amazing job. So with that being said, we have amassed almost 500 jobs. I'm going to say 500 jobs loosely. There's a very interesting internship opportunity that's in the gaming space for a lot of people. So again, that's contributing, that's about 200 open opportunities there. So I'll share more about that coming up. But again, in the short term, we've also received the open roles from Ariba Jobs, again, from Tambourine, and then Blackpin's also supporting us with Insight. But again, they're letting us see what jobs they have open and giving us the opportunity to, again, point you guys in the right way. We're going to, we have already shared a sheet. So if you have not seen the sign-up sheet for all of our program graduates, please take a look, make sure you're signing up, because that's what we're going to share with these amazing recruiters, and they're going to use that to connect you guys with jobs. So again, make sure you fill it out. You fill it out with great intent. You have a lot of the amazing details and different stuff about yourself and all the hard work you've been doing. Make sure that you're taking some pointers from Tambourine when they show you how to put your CV together. And also make sure you leave a link there to your portfolio so people can really see what are some of the things you've actually done. So again, these guys are here. They want to give you information, and they're going to give you insight not only into kind of like, you know, the areas that they're focusing on. Again, we have 3 core areas, but they're also going to possibly give you a little bit of insight into how to navigate their system when it comes time to actually move into the candidate phase where you might get set up for an interview and all that stuff. So I'm sure they're going to give you the insight, show you how to use things, give you a little bit more details about their company so you know who you're working with. But again, as far as Ingressive for Good goes, we are laser focused on making sure that we're not just pushing you guys off to anywhere. I have personal relationships with people in each one of these companies, and I feel strongly about sharing, sharing these opportunities between each other. So that is where we are now. And also I want to commend all of the recruitment companies that are participating in these events. From what I'm seeing and what I've seen, there's a lot of talk about gatekeepers. There's a lot of talk about just the space being contentious. So I'm really proud that each one of these companies sent somebody, and instead of looking at this as a space of competition and I can't share a platform with these people. I did not hear that, not once. And I'm so proud to say that, and understand that everybody who's here is really, really focused on making sure that they're just trying to contribute to creating better talent. So again, when you have those type of people involved, you know that they're here for you. You know that they're here to give you good information and support you. So I hope we're all listening up. I hope we're all paying attention, and I hope we all take some good insight from here. Also, while you all are listening, please be taking your notes. So they will speak for 15 minutes, and after that, we're going to have a Q&A session where you can ask them specific questions based on the information that they are sharing. So if any of you guys who know of some of your people who may be on the live YouTube link, maybe if they have questions, we'll probably be watching that one too. But in the short term, let's just make sure that you guys are asking all the questions that you may have here. So without further ado, I would like to start with our first guest. We have Ifeoma Martins of Tambourine. Ifeoma has been in the recruitment space all of her career, so she's a lifer in this space. Not only that, she started as a recruitment consultant at eRecruiter Africa, where she rose through the roles of managing consultant for the business entity in Ghana. Hold on, let me unmute. So as soon as I get done, she can jump in and start talking. Yes, and over the course of her journey in recruitment, she has reviewed thousands of CVs, sourced and placed technical and non-technical roles across Africa, and interfaced with hiring managers with regard to the right candidates for their organizations. She is currently the Chief Operating Officer, COO Operations in the building at Career Buddy, a talent solutions company in the startup space in Africa, and owners of Tambourine and Solari. So I'm gonna go ahead and give a couple of claps right now. You know, so happy.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to share the knowledge I have garnered over years of recruitment, and more or less to pour what I have into you guys to make sure the next step, which is, pushing forward in making sure you find the next challenge for your life as seamless as possible. So today I will be speaking on best practices for CVs and resume. Sean has said, my name is Ifeoma Martins, CEO of Career Buddy, and Career Buddy owns Tambourine and Salary. So Tambourine is a platform for technical talent across Africa, looking for remote jobs anywhere in the world. But most often than not, we have been focusing a whole lot more on jobs in Africa. And over the last year and a half, we have been able to put together about 30,000 profiles on there. So we have about 30,000 subscribers on Tambourine, on the Tambourine Slack channel at the moment. And what we do is make sure they have resources on a daily basis. So resources on how to make sure their CVs are looking good, resources on next job openings, resources on all job openings from the Tambourine platform, and also from the Career Buddy platform as well. Career Buddy started because we had friends, and our friends wanted challenging jobs. Our friends wanted to do something a lot more impactful, something they would look up to and be proud about. And we saw that there was a gap between these guys who wanted to do a whole lot more and getting into the startup space. And then we came into the picture to become the middle person to help the talents that want fantastic jobs and engaging jobs with matching them with the right startup organization in Africa. Hence, CareerBuddy was born. So we're sort of like the match between talent and organization, but we only do technical companies, more or less startup organizations in Africa. So without further ado, let me just jump into the conversation of the day because I have just 15 minutes to take this on. So let's start with what a resume and a CV is. I know in this part of the world, we use both of them interchangeably. So whenever you're having to interface with someone and they say, share your resume or share your CV, do not be afraid. They're talking about one and the same thing in this part of the world. But when it is not in Africa, then you should probably, have two documents. So for here, when you are asked to share a resume, you should share a CV because a resume is a summary of your experience. It doesn't give so much detail, whereas a CV has a whole lot more. It gives an explicit detail of your experience and your background and what you've done and every other thing you've achieved over time. So as much as you hear resume, just know the person is also talking about your CV and just push your CV forward. And the importance of having a properly done CV can never be overemphasized. I think this subject has probably been flogged a whole lot of times, and people maybe not, don't really take it as seriously as it is. But coming from a recruitment background, I will tell you that it is major. It is super, super key that you have a properly done CV. Now, I have put down this point and I would take a bit of time to just explain each point. Now, how can you have a best CV? When I say best CV done nicely, devoid of typos, devoid of any grammatical errors as well, and a CV that can pass an ATS. An ATS is an applicant tracking system, which almost every tech company now uses. You use that to sift through profiles, so you don't have to manually have to look at those profiles one after the other. So the software just does the sifting using the best fit and in terms of keywords to match the best CV for that role. Now, point number one, keep your CV real. Keep it real and punchy. When I say keep it real and punchy, you need to emphasize more on results and achievements over responsibilities. I understand that maybe some of us on the I4G platform might be early stage professionals. You probably you haven't done a whole lot more in terms of your experience. But when you are going to be putting together your CV, make sure that what you write, you have a whole lot more on achievement and results than just responsibilities. Talk about things that you did probably during an internship, maybe during a peer-to-peer peering for maybe a course or something you just did and the results you achieved. What did you contribute to the group? Maybe a group study, maybe a group work. And you were asked to probably say build an MVP. What did you contribute to the team? What did you guys achieve together as a team? Talk more about what you achieved or the results you brought about rather than the responsibilities you had, because everybody's recruiters are looking for, or hiring managers are looking for what you achieved when you did what you did, rather than what you did on a day-to-day basis. Because at this point, as the world has moved forward, people have gone beyond presenteeism and looking at results. Now, number two, tailor your CV. I always like to hit on this point because a lot of people still don't take it seriously. Don't use one CV to apply for 50 roles. It won't work. Tailor each CV to match each job opening you're sending it for. The reason for that is because there are different requirements for each job opening. Look at the job description, pick the keywords, the key points there. And if you have those keywords already on your CV, highlight them, buttress them, make sure they appear more than once, right? Make sure they appear more than once. Don't use one CV to apply for 5 roles. It does not work that way anymore. The organizations now use applicant tracking system. And if there are no words that match your CV with the job description they have placed out there, the applicant tracking system would not catch your CV. So automatically it would reject your CV. There are times where people have hiring managers put out roles and you have about 1,000 applications. Nobody wants to go through 1,000 applications. I literally do not do that as well. You need to see the face of someone who's looked through 1,000 applications. It's crazy, basically. It is. So tailor your CV to match the job description for that role. Number 3, don't leave gaps. If you had an internship between, say, 2017 to 2018, and you were not doing anything in 2018, and then maybe you got another internship or a job in 2019, don't leave that gap. Don't give the hiring manager the opportunity to speculate or ask themselves, what could they have been doing at that time? Remember that the average time it takes a hiring manager to look through your CV is below 30 seconds. And so if it does not catch them at that moment, it's going into the pile. It's going into the junk. So you have to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. You don't want to give them any opportunity or any reason to wonder, oh, what could this be? Why is this person, or why was this person out of a job, or why was this person not doing anything between a period and that period? Even if you weren't, right? You can't, I don't think anybody stays a full year without doing anything. Even if you don't have a job, you're learning something. So put that there. Don't leave gaps on your CV. So the hiring manager does not use that as an opportunity to probably just dump your CV on the side and say, okay, let me look at another one. Maybe if I don't find anyone better than that profile, then, they move ahead. So don't give that opportunity, because everybody is trying to put their best foot forward. If you don't put yours, someone else will take the opportunity away. And next point is keep it current. Always update your CV with something new. If you've just learned something, if you've just done something, there's something you just achieved at work, if there's a result you just got, don't send in a CV that has not been updated with that latest result or achievement or say course you just did. Always send in the most recent of your resume. So it means always update your resume. Even if you're not looking for a job, just update it. You just never know when you might need to send it in, and you may not have the time to go back and update all of this information. And next point would be, don't pad your CV with half-truths. There are a lot of people that do that. If you know you are, you're not able to work under pressure, don't add the ability to work under pressure on your CV. It's irrelevant, right? It's an outright lie. Don't pad your CV with things you know that are untrue, or you think, okay, they are semi-true. There's a half-truth in there. No. If you did not contribute to the building of a particular design, don't say you were the lead designer, or don't say it was your idea that was sold. Talk about what you did in your own way and shout about it on your CV. You don't necessarily have to lie or pad things that are not true on your CV. It's very relevant. Then next point would be, go over your CV again to check for typos and grammatical errors. I've had situations where this was a CEO actually even speaking to me. He came back to me and said, for a role like this, attention to detail is key. So if this person could not pay attention and see the errors on their CV, it means they're not good enough for the role. And so the hiring managers pick a lot of these things. Go over your CV repeatedly, make sure grammar is right, errors are, taken off there, everything looks good. And also make sure that your CV looks good. See, we're in a world where everything catches the eyes. If it's not beautiful, if it's not good looking, if it's shabbily done, you have a name at the end of the profile, and then you have education somewhere everything looking all scattered. You're not putting your best foot forward, basically. Ideally, just have your name. In recent times, it's not necessary to have your address. Just put say Lagos, Nigeria, that's all. The reason for that is because there are certain roles that come with certain requirements to be in certain places. So if the role says, even though it's remote, and they say they're more, they'll prefer people who stay in Lagos, just put it, Lagos, Nigeria. You don't have to put your full address anymore. Then telephone number, email address that functions, that you check regularly. Next thing should be a personal summary. What do you do? Or what have you done over time? How do you see yourself? What's your general profile like? Then you move down to skills. Please, when you are talking about your skills, and now I'll bring this home to the technical talent. When you are putting down your skills, your soft skills, and all of those, and your technical skills, most especially for technical skills, please ensure that you detail the skill and what you did with it. If you were, say, I did so and so using Java, always have a link to your work. Always have a link to your work. Just don't just write, get the link also imputed there, and make sure you keep it as concise as possible. Nobody has the time to look at 3 pages. For an entry-level professional, for someone who's still at the early stage in the job market, you shouldn't even have more than 2 pages. But for someone who's never even had a job, who's fresh out of, say, university, fresh out of some sort of training, a 1-pager is fine. You will do fantastic with a 1-pager that is done up correctly. Then, for technical talents, please make sure that your soft skills, communication is properly done. Write well. A lot of technical CVs are usually shabbily done. That's the truth. And a lot of time we've always had to render help because we know that this person is actually good, but they just have a bad CV. And believe it or not, your CV is your first interview. That's where you are assessed as to if the hiring manager would want to move forward with you, if they want to speak with you or not. So if that CV does not catch them in the way they feel, oh, I'd like to talk to this person, this CV looks quite interesting, then you've lost that. Then you've lost out of it. So make sure that your CVs are always properly done using these pointers, and please take out hobbies. There's really no need to have your hobbies on your CV anymore. Nobody uses that information for anything. You can talk about it during the interview if it's raised, but it's not a relevant information on your CV anymore. And also, yes, you really don't have a need to put your references anymore. When companies need your references, they request for those. So just don't have people's information flying out there. That way, it keeps your CV as concise as possible. All you need to do is have a little liner under that says references to be shared when requested, or references are available when requested. That's all. Just that way, it keeps your CV as concise and as straight to the point as possible. Are there any questions at this time, so I don't take so much time talking? Okay, so the absence of that, let me see. I think I have gone over my major talking points. Yeah, I think I have. Am I still in time? Okay, still good with time then. Yes, so remember, most employers just scan your CV in less than 30 minutes. So you want to have the right information there at all times. Name, telephone number, email address. No need for your full home address anymore. Just location, that's Lagos, state and country. If a brief summary, shouldn't be more than 2 liners. No, not more than 2 lines. A brief summary on your profile, your skills, last job. Also feel free to write your anything you've done, any volunteering you did, any unpaid internship you did, any means you acquired skill, any means that you use in acquiring any skill. Make sure you talk about it if you don't have any job or any experience to really talk about. That also is a selling point. Oh, I think I have a question. Let me quickly see. Okay, so someone says, How about those who are changing careers and are just studying new skills? How can they sell themselves on their CV? Fantastic question. So when you're changing careers, the best way to sell yourself on your CV is to start with, was someone speaking? Okay. The best way to sell yourself on your CV is to start with a massive, a very good profile, a very good summary. So you talk about the transition that you are doing and what you're already doing towards that. That should not be long as well. And then the next thing you should talk about is whatever training you're already taking for that career path that you want to undertake. Buttress that, then now go move back to what you had been doing. The reason for that is because the hiring manager is going through your CV. If they see the other part where that does not really align with what they're looking for, they'll jump it because they think, we have people that apply for jobs by faith. So they think it's one of those applications, right? You're not qualified for it, but you're just applying because you think it would make a difference. So make sure you try to sell the current skill you're trying to acquire to get into that role as the first part of your CV rather, before you now start talking about your previous experience. That way, they can catch the line of thoughts you're having before they even see other parts of your resume. I hope that answers that. Please let me know if that answers that. Next question from Miriam is, please help with the word you used last about reference instead of putting them there. Okay. So instead of putting the references there, just put references are available when requested, or references are available. Okay, I think, yeah, that works. References are available when requested. So I think that's what I used, if I remember correctly. Yeah. The next question is, please, could you tell us the difference between keywords and buzzwords when creating your resume? The keywords are very, very, very key. I know. So keywords are super, super important when you're creating your resume. And when you're creating that resume, if you have a job in mind, or if you've seen a job that you want to apply for, just go over the job description and look at the words that you think, how do I put it? When you have the job profile, that's the general job profile. Then you have the requirements, then you have responsibilities. So from the responsibilities, pick about 50% of the words there that you think, or you are very sure that you currently have. So maybe something on the responsibility might be ability to use, no, not ability, say, okay, let's use requirement, for example, ability to use Java effortlessly. Java is the keyword there. Efficiency equally is the keyword that you do not even think about. So pick those keywords and put them on your CV, or highlight them if they're already there. Talk about them more than once, just so that the ATS can pick them as keywords when you share them through an ATS machine. Okay, next question. Someone asked me that I should not put my freelance experience on my CV. Please, how to use it? That's so untrue. Always put everything you've done. When you have done it, if you don't have any proper experience, please, your freelance experience is as important as any other thing. That should be on your CV, and you should indicate that it was freelance. Excuse me. The reason for that is major hiring managers now do not like job overlapping or job hopping. So you want to show them that what you were doing, maybe certain things you were doing, or the freelancing you were doing concurrently, you weren't jumping from one job to another. They were both freelance, they were all freelance work. Okay, so someone says, do I need to attach my passport photograph to my CV? No, it's very unnecessary, except it's requested for, but it's very unnecessary. I think that's about the last question. Okay, there's another question about this transition into tech career that has not done any project yet. How do I sell myself on my CV? So you're transitioning to a tech career. What have you done to transition? I don't think you're just sitting at home and waiting for the right opportunity. I'm pretty sure you are learning something. going through a training or something of that nature. So that's what you have to talk about in a CV that is transitioning to a tech career. Talk about the courses you've done, talk about the additional skills you've garnered in that period and what you want to do. So please excuse me.
Yeah, and I would just say, while she's taking a drink and everything, I would say just keep in mind a CV is a function of selling yourself. And sometimes you have to be honest with yourself, right? So if you find that you don't necessarily have the skill sets to get a job, then maybe you shouldn't necessarily be trying to get a job you're not yet qualified for. Maybe it's time to focus on upskilling or, you know, trying to find your way in that way. Is that fair to say? I'm not the professional here. I'm trying to be like you when I grow up.
Yes, very, very true. I don't believe in people applying for jobs they don't qualify for. I think it was something I talked about where people apply for jobs with faith that they'll just get called upon. If you're not qualified for a job, upskill yourself and then reapply for that job when you see a similar opening. But just don't pad your CV with things that are not real and then go ahead and submit the CV hoping and praying for a miracle. It's a popular adage that says heaven helps those that help themselves. So help yourself and then heaven will help you. So don't just throw it out there if it doesn't qualify for what they're looking for. Okay, so can I talk about an online course I took in my cover letter? Now, this is another thing. If a cover letter is not requested, don't send it in. It just makes the application a bit too lengthy. If you are applying directly to the company, let's say in the last year or two, they will typically request for a cover letter. But since 2021, cover letters are suddenly becoming a bit obsolete. So if that role is not requesting for a cover letter, don't add it, just so it's not too lengthy. It's, I think COVID is helping and it's making the way work is seen evolve. So cover letters used to be a thing of importance, but they're no longer a thing of importance as at this year. So if it's not requested, don't bother about adding those. Okay, I think this should be the final question, I guess. I pursued a master's degree in software engineering, but my previous roles were partially related to or relevant to tech. How should I organize my CV? So I think sell yourself, start with what you did. Your master's degree in your education should be the most relevant of all. So that should top the other education you have. Then typically your summary, if you're moving, if you're transitioning, should be the thing to give the hiring manager pointers that you are transitioning from a different path, a different experience to, you know, what you're doing now, and the relevant skills or relevant training you are already taking, just so you can function in that path. Okay, I hope that covers that. And the skills you should buttress should be something relevant to the current role that you want to move into, that you already started training for. Okay, I think I already talked about the difference between a resume, a CV. Okay, let me just quickly do a cover letter. So the cover letter is just a brief summary. It's similar to a resume, but is a lot shorter and a bit more targeted to that role. So you tell them why you are a good fit for the role, basically. Okay, 4 minutes left. I have. Okay. Okay, I think I've answered these questions.
Yeah, I think you've answered that last question. So with that being said, I guess, please feel free to give us any like final comments, if there's anything they need to understand or know about the platform itself. Just anything you want us to know that you feel like we should not leave your session without understanding in our hearts and minds.
Thanks, Sean. Okay, basically, remember, guys, your CV is your first interview. The importance of having a properly done CV can never be overemphasized. And then in addition to that, we ran let's say, a review session about 2 months ago. But I'm willing to bring that back just for the sake of I4G. So we would run a review session from next week for guys from this program, from the HackFest. And I think we would happily review 20 CVs for free, and we would redo 10 of those CVs for free. So I think that's good enough. Ideally, the review is usually paid for, and when we have to redo CVs, I think the charge is for entry-level CVs, we charge about, I think, 15,000 naira, and professionally, more experienced CVs somewhere around 10,000 naira. But we're willing to do 10 CVs for free next week. So I think it's just left for HackFest to let us know which guys should we look at their CVs. So we'll review 20 CVs next week, and then we'll redo 10 CVs, all on us. I think this is our way of saying, we want to show you guys that we care, and we want people to be able to put their best foot forward and get those jobs that they really want. And we want to be part of their success story. So I think that's the way we feel we can also contribute. And also, don't forget to check out tambourine.io. If you can get on Tambourine, I think it will make it easier for you to get, you'll see live jobs and resources on there for free. And we have people that have gotten, job opportunities, internships from different parts of the world there, all from being in Africa. So it's tambourine.io, tamborin.io. You can also join the Slack channel from Tambourine as well, and you can interface with a lot of other technical talents across Africa, and everyone shares opportunities for everyone to see, and job opportunities, resources across. And even I think last week we had a Web3 free training for Tambourine subscribers. So you just never know what will be available for you to tap into. All we want is to have talents in Africa getting the jobs that they want and being the best at what they do. So I hope.
Perfect and amazing. Thank you so much, Ifeoma. I know that, this is the end of the year. So many things are going on. I know we're busy running around like crazy. So thank you, for giving us your time today. We really appreciate you. Thank you for, offering to give us a little freebie to help people get along get along in their journey, man. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited. So like we said, everybody, Tambourine is one of the major supporters of us doing this job hack and pushing to get people hired. So they have open roles. We're looking at from them and other people involved. We have roles from Patricia. I think we have roles from Team Apt. We have roles from Paystack. Like there's some really, really major things going on. So with the information that she just gave you, hopefully that will help you put your best foot forward, and we can get the type of work that can change our lives. Because we know you have to hustle in Nigeria, and let's hustle smart. So thank you again, Ifeoma.
Thank you, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So for the next step, we are going to focus on the interview process. So let's see, I'm still trying to find my person, Io, so please give me about 12 seconds so I can get him on the, oh, wait, you're here?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, it's showing as another name on my Zoom, but
you tricked me. You tricked me. Wait, how do I? Okay, I found you.
I did Dio Thompson.
Make you a co-host. All right. So let me go ahead and do the part. So if you guys know Ariba Jobs, Japa Kings and Queens, they were one of our supporters from last year when we did our first HackFest. So again, they're back to support us again. They're still looking for amazing talent. And today we have my guy, it's not Adedayo, it is Ayo Mobayo. So he is with us today. He's been within the digital tech space for the last 10 years as a product manager, 7 years in telco. Another brother in telco. That's where I was at before I reached into this African continent and decided to change my own life. And he also has 3 years across African markets, 1 year in biotech, and now he's with Adelia Group, which is the parent company for Ariba Jobs. Ariba Jobs focuses on identifying promising talent and connecting them with jobs from all over the world. I know with some of the open jobs that they shared with us, I saw some Italy, I saw some Belgium, I saw some things going in there. Now for me, I love to have, I want to make sure the African market has talent, but at the end of the day, where there are jobs, we have to take these jobs. The only thing I will say is the thing that changed my life was understanding how to make USD and spend it in Nigeria. It goes further, my guys. So with that being said, we have Mr. Ayo Mabayo. Please go ahead and start us off, man. We're excited to hear from you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon to every one of us, and welcome to the HackFest 2021. It's been coming, and kudos to the team, to the Ingressive for Good team for putting this together. So without wasting too much time, I will just be taking us through what should be or could be an ideal interview practice, and how we can, get into the process of applying for a job, and also, should I say, scaling or getting the job. So please, I would like this session to be very, very interactive. This topic is something that it shouldn't be boring, because I know virtually everyone here would have had one experience or the other in terms of job interview. So let me quickly open the floor with his experience. So then I think as far back as 2017 or 2019, this is recent. I saw a product manager role on LinkedIn, and I think I put in my CV for the role. And then when I got to the venue of the interview, I saw a whole lot of crowd, a lot of people. I'm talking of people in their 40s, and I was like, am I in the right place? I was scared. Then I saw, some guys, at my own, we're almost at the same age, the same level. And so we got talking, and then, when you get to the interview, you start rubbing minds. Thank you for the person. He said the job market is very rough. Yes. So we just started talking, and we got to know that the post of the job, like the employer, just did the wrong communication for the job entirely. And within 5 minutes, or should I say within 10 minutes of the interview starting, almost about 95% of everyone that was present or that were present for that interview were gone. So you just get in, they ask you your name and all that, and before you know it's bye-bye. And we're just like few people left. At the end of the day, they took another person entirely for the role, someone that came from a sales background. So to show us that, to tell us that even sometimes the employer might not really know what they're looking for. So what is the ideal job interview or practice, right? I want to believe most of us here are all candidates, prospective candidates, and if we have recruiters here, it's also good. So at least we can rub minds and share ideas. So for me, I'll use myself as a personal example, and not to shock us, I didn't prepare anything for this session because there are tons and tons and tons of materials online. If you Google, you will see several things on how you should prepare for interview. But I think it's best we hear from people's experiences, right? And that is why I started with my own experience at some point in time. So what is the best, if I'm preparing for an interview, or if I see a role that I want to apply for, what is the first thing that I do, right? So for me, the first thing is yourself. You need to look at yourself and look at, I know because of how rough the market has been, most of us, we just want to get a job. We don't really care if the role suits us or not. Let me just get something doing, then later I'll be I'll be looking for something that suits my role. Please, I hope we can all hear me. If you can hear me, please just drop a comment in the chat so that I can know that we're all together, please. So it's not just me alone. Good. Thank you for Taye Kadri. So what is the ideal job searching process? How do we get the right job? So the first thing is yourself. For me, I know the kind of job I'm looking for. I mean, I know I started my experience. I started as a contract staff with Etisalat and then grew to a full staff as a product analyst. And then, moving into a more core product management role. And then from there to where I am now. So for me, I think the best thing is yourself. What do you want, right? What are the kind of jobs that you're looking for? What's your career aspiration? For me, I want to be a CCO within the tech space. That's what I want to be. In digital solutions. I want driving the profitability of the business. So has given me that exposure on in terms of the kind of skills I should have, in terms of the kind of experiences I should be able to put together. So that is the first thing that we need to take care of, because if you don't know yourself, if you don't know what you love, you end up finding yourself in the wrong environment, and at the end of the day, after you've been able to sort that out, then if you're applying for something, if you're an intern, probably you're just a fresh graduate, you've not done anything before, you're just looking for an opportunity, then good for you. Anything. You can do anything. My own belief is that if you've space as an example, if you've gone through the four walls of a university, you can do anything, and now the job market is reshaping the way I studied sociology as my first degree, and I'm in tech now. I studied sociology and I'm in tech now. I mean, if I was told I would be in tech, I would say it's a lie, because I never knew I had so much passion, so much energy, so much vibe for anything technology. But all I knew back then in school was that, I'm always with my laptop, trying to, do things, looking for solutions, copy these, copy and all stuff of all sort of things like that. But when I finished from school and my folks were asking me, where do you want to work? They said bank. I said no. Oil and gas. I said CG. I said no. So where do you want to work? I said I don't know, but not all this. Luckily I got an opportunity within Etisalat with Etisalat then, and it was a good one for me, right? Please stop me at any time to ask me any question, right? So we can all be on the same page. So I got into Etisalat, like I said, started as a and then to a product manager, and since then it's been sorry, can that person mute their mic so we don't have that disruption? So like I was saying, know yourself, know what you want. Then if you're an intern or if you're a fresh graduate, it's good for you, because you're more like a baby in the job market. Your mind is plain, so you can do anything. And thank God for tech now. You can be a data analyst, you can be a business analyst, you can be a product designer, you can be a product manager, you can be thing you want. Tech has more like democratized the entire job space. So even people that have been in the traditional roles before, such as the bank, the FMCG, and the likes, most of them are now transitioning into the tech space by taking those courses, upskilling themselves to be competitive within the job market. So as an intern or as a fresh graduate, the first thing you need to do, don't close your mind. Oh, I don't want here. I don't that comes your way, and own it, because you are still at the building stage. You're still building your profile, you're building your experience, you're building your capacity, you're building yourself in terms of character and attitude. So it's not just in skills alone. you need to build something that I will call a shock absorber, because at the end of the day, your skill can get to the job or your experience can get to the job, but it's your experience, your character, and your attitude that will actually suffer. In terms of soft skills, hard skills, everything, you're building it at that first 2 years or first 3 years. So by the time you're well built and you know you can now sound, you can now deliver on some key project or some key deliverables within the particular area you've chosen, then you can now start calling the shot and say, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. Now, if you're a graduate and you're looking for job, like I believe every one of us here are looking for one opportunity or the other, the next thing for you to do after recognizing excuse me, what you want is the job, the job you're applying for, and that is where Ariba job is different, which I'll be sharing some details about Ariba jobs quickly. You need to understand where you're applying to. A lot of us just, with the portals we have now, the job placement sites we have now, you see different list of roles, and then anybody can apply for it. You're qualified, you're not qualified. I was sharing an experience with one of my recruiters today, and she was telling me someone that was handling social media, that was a social media manager, applying for a data analyst role. Exactly, especially in the startup space, applying for a data analyst role. And she was like, how does social media experience, qualify you for a data analyst role, right? So you need to read the job description. And okay, let me give this insight. Yesterday, I was on Test Gorilla, and I saw that Test Gorilla, as a recruiter, if you're signing up on Test Gorilla, if you don't know Test Gorilla is like a testing platform that employers use to test candidates. So if you apply for a job, you've done the first level interview, the next stage they put you to is the Test Gorilla stage. Is to allow you to take some tests, some case scenario tests on Test Gorilla to see if you truly know your job or you have experience of what you're talking about. So I now saw that there were lists of applicant solutions or application services listed on Test Gorilla that employers use to vet out unsuitable candidates. And that is what happened, because once you just submit your CV, you think you've submitted your CV. Meanwhile, there's a solution that they use. Good. Thank you for posting that they use to save out those people that are not qualified. So you need to be qualified for the role. You need to be qualified, at least based on research. You need to have like 70% to 80% skills or requirement for that particular role, right? I know there is a place for transferable experience, but even in transferable experience, you need to be sure that you have majority of the required skill sets for that particular role. So so that in itself will give you an edge, because there are tons of people, right, that are applying for the same role with you. And what you need is to be competitive. Like they say, you need to put your best foot forward. You need to get yourself into the door, right? So please, you need to read the job description. And then number 3, very critical, you need to go and research about the company. You can't be going for a product manager role, for instance, now, and then you've told them about yourself, what you've done before, where you are and all that, and they say, what do you know about us? And then you start looking, or you start saying things that are not in context with what you're doing, right? Or what they're asking for. So no matter what role it is, what I'm saying now is very generic. It applies to everybody. You need to know the job description, know what they are expecting, know what they want you to deliver. And then, because that in itself will form the kind of questions you ask when they ask you if you have any question for them. And then you need to know the company, know the kind of product, the kind of services they want you to come and deliver or to come and sell. Then ask questions. Then another key thing is, I got this while I was prepping for my product manager roles. And I was watching a webinar, and the person said that you see the panels, right, as your friend, as your teammates. Don't see them as people asking you questions, right, as like they're querying you. See them as your teammates, like you guys are just strategizing or talking about, how you want to deliver on a particular project, especially on case scenario questions. That is how you can scale it. There's no need to be scared. These are your guys, these are your friends within the same team. So you're just telling them how what's the best possible way of doing that thing. And so that is how you can scale through, because at the end of the day, what is critical for you is that you need to put your best foot forward by creating a very great impression so that you will retain yourself in the mind of the recruiter or the hiring manager. And at the end of the day, even while you're not there, someone will be able to say, I love that guy. I love the way he was confident. I love he knows what he's talking about. He is able to deliver. We just need to, of course, we need some prepping, but I think we can bring him in. It's someone that will speak for you based on your presentation, your profile, your CV, right? Most of us, if you go to LinkedIn, for instance, what you have on LinkedIn is different from what you have on your CV. So you will now give the recruiter a hard job to do. By the time they look at your CV and they go to your LinkedIn profile, they can't match what is in both distance. So whatever is in your CV should be the same thing that is on your LinkedIn profile or any other portal where you've displayed your profile, your brief, right? So please, I think those are the few nuggets in terms of how we can scale an interview process, to retain yourself, to give a good impression about yourself. So I'll stop there now. I can say that we're ready. If you have any question, please let me know so that we can quickly address the question. Then before I just take another 2 minutes before I round up to share more about Ariba jobs and how we are disrupting the job space.
I have a question. This is always fun to me. So from your perspective, what are some of your top, like the terrible thing? Like, if you want to give me your top 3 things that people should never do in an interview, I'd love to hear that. And then while we are waiting for seeing if anybody else has any questions, I love hearing about people. I mean, we're not giving people's names, but if there are some interesting stories that you've seen in this interview process, because I may have 1 or 2 of my own.
Okay, so the first thing for me is like I said before, don't go into the interview blank, right? You need to equip yourself. Your weapon is information, is knowledge. Knowledge about the role, knowledge about the company, and then if possible, knowledge about, because at the end of the day, the reason you're going for that interview is to get a job, to be paid. So you need to have requisite knowledge across the context of that interview, the pay, the hiring manager, the company, the role. Those are the key. Don't go there empty, right? That's number 1. Number 2, don't go there overconfidence, because you're dealing with people. And I've been in an interview before, and the CEO, the founder of the company, asked me if I liked him. This is someone I'm meeting for the first time. I don't know if I like you. No, if I'm not going to like you.
Get to know each other first.
So he asked me, said, do I like him? I said, I can't say. I was very blunt. So it was like, oh, he was not telling the next person that came in that this guy does not like me. I said, I didn't say that. He said, but you said you don't know yet. I said, yes, because I'm being honest. So don't go there overconfident, right? Just try to be yourself, but at the same time. And then you need to, some recruiters or some hiring managers will ask you several questions again and again and again, just to be sure that you know what you're talking about, right? So you really, 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 I think that boils down to being knowledgeable about what you're there for again. You really, really need to know what you're there for. You need to have requisite knowledge about that particular role. So I will just stop there because of time. Okay, so
we have a question from Shidera. So she's asking, what type of questions should we ask the recruiter? I was also told this earlier in my career. If you want to stick out, make sure you ask questions from the recruiter, like that type of thing. So and I did it. So yeah, what are some of the questions you would see working there?
Okay, so like I said before, the reason you're searching for information, the reason you're building or getting information is for you to be able to ask the necessary questions. And the kind of question you want to ask is in terms of, so for recruiters might not really be able to divulge much information to you, except you're dealing with the recruiter from the company itself. I've had to talk to a lot of recruiting agencies, and at the end of the day, they can't provide you any answer to any questions you're asking, right? So I will say that you save your questions to when you're talking to the hiring manager from the company. But if you're dealing with the company one-on-one, then you need to know the vision of the company. because that in itself tells you where they are going. I mean, what's the mindset of the people that you'll be working with. You need to know how the team where you are going to be is structured. How is the team built? So for instance, most questions that I ask is, how is the product team built up? Is there a UX lead? Is there a full stack engineer or backend engineer? You know, is there a QA tester? You know, I want to know how the product team itself is structured if I'm going to take that role, so that you don't go there and then you are doing a 10-man job for what was not bargained initially. So then you need to know the in terms of how they treat customers. You know, how do you deliver on your service? How do you handle your customers? You need to know if they have like a data point. How do you know, validate most of the propositions? So you just have questions, you know, questions that are very critical, you know, that makes them know that, oh, this person is very sound. This person knows what he's talking about. This person is in the market. He knows what is current, you know. That is the kind of questions that you should ask.
Okay, great. I accidentally skipped a question as well. So Tolu asked, what is advice you have for when people are applying for remote jobs in tech from Nigeria?
Okay.
And I know we have about 5.5 more minutes, so we're good.
All right. Okay. So if you're applying for remote jobs, one thing that is critical within the tech space now is a profile of what you've done before. So let me tell you what I do. I have a profile for all the solutions that I've built before, right from Etisalat, you know, to my side also to 54 Gene. You know, I have them profile. So I'll show you everything that I've done before. I have my product brief, I have my roadmaps, I have my wireframes, I have everything. So most of the tools, I have everything. So you need to be able to show something. So I mean, there are some interviews that I've done that when I said it's taking too long, I just tell you, you know what, hold on a minute. I just open my workstation and I show you everything. So let the work speak for itself, right? That is the best way for you to, you know, scale an interview. You need to show what you've done before, and then the questions will be limited, right? What you've done will speak for itself.
Awesome, awesome, thank you. So I would say also, just to add in a little something on top, I think he already touched on it, but also I would say what I find in team meetings and in that space, make sure that at least, you don't even have to wear pants, but at least from like the shoulders up, look presentable. Things like because if you're doing the remote thing, you're gonna be on camera. I have oily face syndrome, so make sure your face is not too oily. I even forgot to turn on my own light, so that makes the oil pop out, but make sure you have proper lighting, comfortable background, things like that when you're actually in the process. And then I'll just skip through, somebody asked a question that kind of touched me somehow. It says, it doesn't look like I'd be practicing the course I'm studying now. I'll graduate next year. Please, what do I do with my life? That's a deep question. And I would say that I'll take this one and then I'll move on to the next one. I think it's a fact of you figuring out what are you passionate about in life. I spent the majority of my life not knowing what I want to do for a living. And I found that in between knowing what I wanted to do and figuring it out, putting myself in service of others always positioned me to have more options. So I would say, if you don't know what to do with your life, find something in connection to service of others that you are passionate about and that you would like to do. And I guarantee you that would create other opportunities for you. Things like volunteering and stuff like that keeps you busy, keeps you out of trouble, but also helps you build up your resume. I wish you all the best. Do not feel like the world is against you and you can't figure it out. It's on you. You can make that choice, do something you love and lean into it. I would say bargaining for higher pay during an interview. Actually, with our last year's HackFest, you kind of touched on that one. So I would say go back and look at our previous footage on our YouTube channel, and you can see a little bit more information about that, about the negotiating for salary part. Because I don't necessarily think that's a interview thing, at least not the first interview. So I want to get into this question. I think this is fair because I've been accused of this before. At what point will you say that somebody is overconfident? And then the other question is the bane of my existence in Nigeria, but I'll reach that question next. What makes somebody feel like they're overconfident?
So it depends. So the way you answer the questions, right, can tell if you're overconfident. It's good to know your owners. It's good to know what you're talking about, but you say it in a manner that it gives that impression that you know what you're talking about and you don't sound cocky, if you understand what I mean. Right. So because at the end of the day, there's something in psychology that says that there's a way, the way I'm talking now, if you're attentive enough, you could hear what I'm not saying, from my gesticulations, from my expressions and all that, my body movements, there these things are things that you don't know that people are looking at. So the way I'm looking at you, the way I'm moving my hands, the way I'm shaking my head and all that and all that, people can tell if you're being cocky. People can tell if you're being overconfident. So you just need to be relaxed. Try to see those people as your friend and then just communicate in a good manner. That's all.
Okay, so I think that's the last, well, okay, let's do one more question. We have Nora in the waiting room for our next session starting in 1 minute. So let's do this. I would say, Io, go ahead and give your last finishing statements, any key things, whatever it is you want to pull out. And if you don't mind, I would like you to live in this chat section. And for the questions that they asked that we couldn't get through in the live part, if you don't mind just kind of answering there, I'll download the chat after we're done with it. And then I can also share that as well. Somebody in their 40s saying, how do they make sure that's not a disadvantage? Bro, I'm with you. But yes, please, Io, go ahead.
Okay, so for my last word, I would like to just share a little detail about Ariba job for guys that would be interested, and I believe everyone would be interested. So we're disrupting the job placement space, right? Like I mentioned before, other portals, display jobs, and then you can go there. Anybody can go there. You're qualified, you're not qualified, and apply. But what we are doing is that when you get to our portal, you don't see any list of jobs. You don't see any job on display. What you do is to register, sign up, and attach your updated CV and complete your profile. Then you can proceed to take a test. The system is intelligent enough to recommend a suitable job to you or for you. So you will see the list of available jobs there. The system has been able to search through the archives and populate the list of jobs that you're suitable for. And then you can apply for those jobs. Immediately you apply for those jobs, a recruiter is going to go through your CV and reach out to you immediately. So we're cutting the time short, in terms of screening and profiling. And then we're also cutting the time short for job placement. So within 2 days, you could get a job. I tell you for a fact, within 2 days, rather than 1 week or 2 weeks before, you could get a job. If you're a good candidate, you're an experienced person, your CV is good, immediately you apply, someone reaches out to you, have a feel of the experience and skill set, and then the next thing will be for you to talk to the hiring manager. If they need you to take a case study session, a case scenario questions, they will do that to you, depending on the role. But that is much of it. But now we're disrupting the space and you can get a job quicker. Another thing is that we have different list of jobs from international organizations, just as Sean has mentioned before. We have jobs in Italy, in Belgium, in Germany. We have other organizations across Europe coming on board, and we're doing something, and we're going to be running an initiative coming up called Secular Migration with International Organization of Migration. So qualified candidates across Africa, not just Nigeria alone, qualified candidates across Africa get an opportunity to either work remotely or travel out, to work with this European organization. And those roles are on the portal as I talk to you, www.aribajobs.com. Those roles are on the portal as I talk to you. And even some candidates, about 2 candidates are already, job placed, across Europe. So that is much of what I would like to share. I will also go through the questions and provide answers. Thank you to the Ingressive team, to Sean and Nefa, everybody for this opportunity. Thank you so much. Hope we do better, next year.
Thank you so much for spending this amazing time with us. Again, you got some questions in this platform. They're asking about the name of the platform, the website. Paulina had some questions. Who else? Deji, thank you for that one. We are brothers. Bo, like, yeah. So Ayo's going to be in that chat section. Continue asking questions about the interview process, please. But now what we're going to shift into is we're about to start this session with Nora Dawood. Please forgive me if I messed up your name. I tried to give it a little je ne sais quoi. But Nora is a qualified German attorney with international immigration lawyer with degrees. Y'all, please do me that favor and make sure you're muting yourselves, because for me, I'm easily distracted with sounds and different things, with most things actually. So with that being said, again, a German attorney, an international immigration lawyer with degrees and qualifications from the University of South Africa, Columbia Business School, and IE Law School. Nora is, in addition, the CEO and founder of Black Pen Recruitment, an internationally recognized recruitment company formed to operate worldwide and bring people closer together. With its headquarters in Cape Town, South Africa, Black Pen offers a comprehensive global solution combined with local knowledge and expertise. In addition, Nora has been featured regularly on leading radio stations in South Africa, such as Heart FM and Good Hope FM, and has also made a prominent appearance on SABC 3's Espresso Morning Show, which is broadcast live across the country. So we have a bit of a celebrity here. So I hope we enjoy this session that is primarily focused on what does that path to senior level roles look like. Nora, thank you so much for coming, and I'm looking forward to speaking with, hearing from you.
Okay, thank you so much. It is very difficult to just narrow it down to one thing. So what is the most important thing is when you want to apply for a job is obviously the first thing is your CV is correct, no spelling mistake, and it's perfectly done. Obviously, you can do it yourself, but there are professional CV writers. They do it in a nice format, and that is super important because a recruiter doesn't have much time to go through many CVs. So we're getting per position approximately 500 applications per day. So we can't scream in little details every CV and figure out if you are suitable or not. So when you see a job spec, you think you are suitable, the right keywords must fall. So if, for example, you apply for a fintech company and you do have fintech experience, but your CV doesn't mention the word fintech, you will be automatically disqualified, even if you kind of describe your position, but you do not put the right keywords in. A recruiter does not have the time to figure out what you mean. That's super important for you. And also, if you want to go in a specific field, let's say from a junior developer into a senior developer role, you need to decide where you want to go. What is the field of expertise you want to bring with? So what is your field of interest? Because you can obviously say, I'm super interested in fintech. I'm super interested in telco. But if your CV doesn't match your interest, we won't believe it. And it's also very important that you go and decide for yourself what is important for you. Because when you do a job which is not your field of interest, you will not do a great job in any case. Because we can't do a great job if it does not match our expertise. We're getting burned out because we're using too much energy for something we're not good at. So that's super important. It's not just finding a job, it's finding a job which suits you first. And that is also the first question you will have to answer when a recruiter reaches out to you. The first question they ask, why did you apply for this position? And if your answer is, I want to have more money, I want to have a bigger career, I see that as a career growth, be very specific. Money can never be your driving factor. Because if money is your driving factor, the company is not interested in you. They want to hear, and a very easy way to remind what to say, it's if you go into the dating world. If you tell the girlfriend or your new partner, the only reason why I want to be with you is because of your money, she will not be interested, or he will not be interested in you. And the same is the employer. They want to know, expect specifically, why do you want to have that job? And why do you think this is a great job for them to have you? And why is it a good thing for you to work for them? So the motivation must stand out. So when you go in an interview, you need to be very clear, why did you apply for that job? And as I said, money cannot be the drive, because we don't want people, they're just greedy. The next important thing is what a recruiter is going to check out on you is how long did you stay in previous positions? If you, let's say, a slut in employment, you changing jobs all the time, then no one wants you, because you're not loyal. You're not have proven to be loyal. You have not proven you can stick to a company, or someone wants, not someone works for them, who always leaves when it becomes complicated or difficult. They really want to have loyal employees. So if you have decided to go for a job, try to stick for a longer period. So if people leave below 2 years, it's always a bad sign, especially if it happens more than once. Try to stick to a position for longer than that. Try to build a career in that position you have chosen to be the right position. And that is why it's super, super important for every career, when you're coming from a junior level and want to grow into a senior level, to see for what position you have applied. Is this really what you want to do? And then stick around, work your way up. Because when you want to change one day another job, we see that. We see, wow, he worked for this company for 2-3 years. So he is kind of a loyal person. But if you have only worked for 3 months, did he get fired? Did he not pass his probation period? What is the reason why he was only say they're so short? And then the next job, he's staying for 6 months. So what is the reason now? You can't always have a good reason why you having started the job for just a short period of time. There are obviously exceptions when it's a contract work, but this is super important. So the first thing you want to start when you're becoming from a junior, want to move into a career, decide what field you want to go. You want to go into the fintech? Do you want to go into startups? Do you want to go into corporates? Because that's not the same thing. Because when you're coming from a corporate environment, you're not fit anymore for the startup environment, because you're too into a too organized structure. When you work in a startup, it's not organized at all. It's chaos, and you must love the chaos. That is why it's important which way you want to go. You want to go into the corporate world? Do you want to go into the startup world? And what field? Is it fintech, crypto? What is it? So once you have made this decision, and no one can help you on that, you need to show and you need to make a decision. Is this a field you want to work? For example, now a lot of people want to go into metaverse because it's a new way the world is going to. That is a good reason. So, but don't just say, I want to go there. Do your own upgrade. There are a lot of amazing tools to upgrade yourself. Go into LinkedIn Learning, that's for free. Go for any kind of possibility to upgrade yourself in a specific field you want to go. Show your interest, show your passion for something. Wherever you have passion, this is the way you need to go. And that needs to be clearly communicated, because you have only one chance to communicate something is through your CV, and your CV must be aligned what you say. It doesn't make sense you say, I love fintech, but you're coming from the telco or corporate environment. It doesn't match. That's why you need to be clear with your message through your CV. That is number one. And if you really saw a position you like, I often react more when people also contact me on LinkedIn. You have the chance to say, I'm interested in that position, and then it goes directly to the recruiter. And that's most of the time the recruiter then looks at your CV, because it's kind of coming into their face. So he's not going to ignore you. And if they open up your LinkedIn profile, and they see, wow, he does have actually the requirements. That is a good way to get out of the line and not have to wait at the recruiter screens all the CVs. But that is very important, that your LinkedIn profile gives all the necessary information which the recruiter can see, which he can say, okay, this is a match to that position. So it must be obvious. If you apply for a metaverse company, then write metaverse in something in that you have done it, or at least a course or any upskill. Because when we can't see that, we don't know why you actually apply for this position and you're getting ignored. And a lot of people, a lot of applicants get ghosted and they don't understand why. And that is the reason why, because you don't have the right skill set, or you might have it, but you're not communicated in the correct way. That is super important. And the next step is, once you have said that all right, then it's obviously the interview phase. Be prepared, and obviously internet issues. We are now not having face-to-face interviews any longer, so it goes a lot of online. A lot of the time people have technical issues. Sort it out before you have actually the interview. Even if you're a great candidate, it's just not a great start if you have to say, oh, I don't know why am I unmute and why my camera doesn't work. It's just not a great start. It's the first impression, it's not great. So that needs to be tested beforehand. Maybe do a test call with a friend before you go into the interview. And also the way you dress, the way the lighting is, and the way you sit, it's giving, I can tell in an interview, the first 3 want to continue with that person or I don't want to continue. Because the way the first seconds, when he's not a friendly voice, when he's looking annoyed, when he's pressurized, if he's like, if I ask stupid questions, the way you did talk to this person, I know exactly if I'm going to want to continue with that person or not. So the first impression is super important. It's just too important that you cannot, most of the time you cannot fix the first impression. So that you need to get right. Try, if you are not confident with interviews, do a test interview with a friend before. Obviously the information about the company is super important, and why is this something you'd be interested? What is the company, why is the company the great company for you? And don't answer questions with that sounds the company is great for you only. They want to know what, because they're not hiring to do you a favor. They're not saying, oh, great, I make your career and you make more money and all of that. That's not my intention why I want to hire you. My intention is, what can you do for me? And that should be your first answer. What can you do for the company? And always think about, one way is, if I leave that company, what hole will I leave? They need to fill. So if I would leave the company, will they miss me? Is there something missing at the company? You must become so important that you leave a hole in the company which they need desperately to fill. If you are not leaving anything, if you just go, no one will notice it, then it doesn't matter. You haven't done a great job. So that is always important. You need to show that when they hire you, they have such an asset, they will miss you when you're not there anymore. And the most important thing is, in any career, is your attitude towards your employer. If your attitude is not right, you will not get a job, because a cultural fit is super important for every company, especially when you want to go into the startup environment. You cannot be selfish or difficult or whatever. The attitude must be number one. That's what they're going to check. Your skill set is less important than your attitude in a long run when you want to move ahead, because that's what long-term is what matters for a company. Yeah, I think that are the most important aspects you should know when you want to apply and when you want to move forward into and having a career in a specific field.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that one, Nora. I think we have a couple of questions, and I'll just jump right in and ask on behalf. I'll be honest, it looks like we have a few job hoppers in this chat. We have people who they don't want to be held down. So there was a little bit of pushback on that 2 years. So one of the questions was from Misoma, is what if the working environment is not healthy? Do you still need to stay in that role for 2 years? Speaking from experience for those working in a chemical company. Wow, okay, don't turn into the Joker there. What do you think about that one, Nora?
Look, you always can have one bad choice in your life. You know, that's not, you can't always make the right decision. But that's what I say. You need to be very clear what you want and where you want to end up. Obviously, we need money. Everyone needs money. And sometimes we take jobs which is not really progressing our career and we jump immediately in something else, which just looks better for us. It can happen in your very early stage of career. But that shouldn't happen anymore when you're already 2 or 3 years in the role. You can have one wrong company, but if it continuously, like, oh, here, this wasn't right management, the next time was not right management, and this was, no one believes it. Even if it can be happening, it can. But the question is, are you a great candidate? So is a recruiter saying you are a great candidate, and we can't go deeper into your life and figure out every your problems, what you had in a specific time. So from the piece of paper we see, you don't look like a great candidate, and that's the problem.
Exactly. When you're submitting your CV or resume, you don't have time to explain that it was a bad situation. So that could potentially impact how you arrange your CV. What type of CV do you use?
Often what helps is to write reason for leaving. So reason for leaving can be, I did a sabbatical, or some family emergency. But if you have 10 family emergency in a row, it's just, even if it's true, it does just not look great. That's reality.
Yeah, if I see your CV and I see like 2, 3, 4 years with no jobs, I'm just gonna assume you got locked up. One of the other questions, the next question we have is, again, this is about this job hopping. Must one reach a certain corporate level to comfortably hop jobs at short intervals? I would say from what you said, no, but if you want to add a little bit more onto that one.
Look, it depends. Let's compare it with the dating, okay? With dating. So you are trying to win a girlfriend, yeah? And then she asks, how was your last relationship? Lasted 2 weeks. And the relationship before, 3 months. And that before, 2 days. So maybe you are a great catch, but what you're telling that person doesn't sound like a great catch. So she might think, oh, with this guy I can maybe date 2 months, and then he runs away, right? So obviously there might be good reasons why you always left the girlfriend, for she wasn't that good and that whatever. But in the first impression, is it good? No. So unfortunately, we cannot play Sherlock Holmes in your life. So that is what we see and what we have. And then when we all have reasons, we all make mistakes, but clearly communicate that and be honest about it. But if it happens all the time, then you might also go back to yourself and ask, why can I not stick to that position? It's always easy to blame others. It's always easy to blame the management, but you also have to look into yourself, and maybe there's something you need to sort out with yourself, why you couldn't stick with that position. It's not always the others. That's the other explanation for it, you know?
Can I quickly add to that, please? Can I?
Sure.
All right. So, like she said, like Nora said, it's all about you. It's all about your character. It's all about your attitude. And I'll give this example. While I was in a Tesla, I had a manager that was managing data services. And I would say he was not treated well, but he didn't take that on the company. So he left and went to another company. And I believe it was paid better than what he was earning in the Tesla. Then later, it came back from that company to Etisalat as a senior manager. And then they accepted him because of his character, because of his attitude and his disposition to work at that point in time when he was in Etisalat initially. Now, while he was still there, another senior role opened up, and it didn't take anybody any time before they could admit him into the senior role. Again, while he took the senior role, within 3 months, he got another role from another value-added service company with a more larger and fatter pay. So what I'm trying to say is this: if you are good, if you're a good candidate, your character is good, your attitude is good, there's something called the 10,000 hour rule within the corporate segment. Your time for payment will come. Your time for payment will come, but you have to be good. You need to be able to deliver. Let people know you. The space in which you play is very small. So everybody must know you. You must have done something to someone, or you must have worked with this person that someone should be able to vouch for you. You know, so your recommendation for a bigger role could come from somewhere else. But it's all about your character. It's all about your relationship with people. Just be good. It doesn't matter how the starting point was, but it is, but just be good. Your payment day or your 10,000 hour rule will be clocked, and then you can hop in anyway. If you will even be headhunted, you'll be headhunted if you're good. You'll be headhunted. You won't need to apply again. People will be calling for you to come and work with them. Thank you.
Thank you for that one. I think you even touched on the next question. And just to further buttress the point, Nora used the dating example. There's me. Maybe I shouldn't be in jobs or in relationships going from person to person, because maybe it will decrease my value. But if you're a Rihanna in the job space, everybody wants you, everybody's looking for you, maybe you can do that. But if you're not at that extreme level, know your space and make sure that in life you're choosing those jobs carefully so you don't put yourself in this position where you got to move around. All right. Thank you both for insight on that one. Let's see. So the next question is from Ugwa Stanley. He said, are there instances where recruiters reach out to former employees to ensure that you actually completed your role in a case where you suspect fraud? And then what do you do when you have accepted a role and within a week you get another offer that fits you better? So those are two questions. Do you guys check employees, I guess, and not just employers? And then what happens when you have a role but you get a better one?
Okay. When you recruit someone, we do a full background check on that person. It's super important. And then when the person has started working for the company, we reach out to the employee and ask how is it, how everything's going. So if they say it's fine, and usually if the company is not happy with the employee, then they will reach out to us that, Nora, you need to find us someone else, right? So we would get immediately feedback, because the companies don't pay us when the people they're not staying for 3 months. So we can't hire non-committed people. It's just not possible. That's why we need to be very selective, and also for the candidates, we need to do a full background check. And what often happens with candidates, they lie in their CV. They just say, instead of, I changed jobs so many times, let's just say I was self-employed. That lie comes back, because when we do the background check, we can see who your previous employer were, because it's written in the system. So whoever paid for you the PAYE or any governmental, let's say, tax, we can see that. And that means, why this company not showing up in your CV? And when you pick up one lie, so what do you think? Once you lie, you mistrust the person, right? And that's the problem. The next question was, what happens when I get another job offer which suits me better? Well, I would say tough luck. Either you say, be honest to the company, you just accepted the job, and tell them, I just received something which is absolutely my dream job. But don't leave. If you have given your word, and you signed the offer letter, it's just not a good way to just say, just I received something what is just better for me. You have to make up your mind at one stage in your life. You know, like there will always coming other opportunities, and the grass is not greener on the other side. So once you have shown your commitment, and that comes back to the attitude. People, when you accept an offer from me, and now I reject all the other candidates because you have accepted it, and now you're coming and telling me, "Ooh, I haven't accepted another offer." You screw up the company. You just accepted an offer, and this is a question of attitude. Yeah, of course you can do it. That's up to you. It's just not a good way to leave a company, but things happen. It's a decision you need to make. If the other one is your dream job, it's like when you start dating and then you find another guy and looks better than the previous one and you start dating him. Is it a great thing? We don't know. Maybe it's a future husband. We don't know. But it is the way you leave a company, the way you enter a company is less important than the way you leave a company. Because that shows real character. The way you leave in a good terms, and that is super, super important. Don't leave in bad terms. Yeah, because that always backfires. It always, we do reference checks. And when I called an ex-employee of yours, and he said he was just started and then he just took another job and he left this whole mess because I just declined everyone else and no one else can now do the job because I told everyone else. It's just not good. If you can afford it, if you think now you have your dream job, you have your dream husband, whatever, then go for it. But you ask me if this is a good way to do that? Obviously not. But the consequences, you need to accept the consequences with it.
Yeah. And also remember that dream jobs look like dream jobs sometimes from the title and from the outside. A lot of times you don't know what that company is going to look like once they bring you in. And you may have messed up something that was great for something that looked good. So with that one being said, Nora, I've already taken you about 10 minutes past your time, but there's about 2 or 3 more questions. There are questions I can answer if you have a time. Do you have a hard stop, or should I continue with the other, I can just say the last one.
I still have a babysitter, so.
Oh. Okay. So with that one being said, Nora, thank you so much for coming in and addressing us today. Again, Blackpin is one of the supporters of the Ingressive for Good community. Just so everybody on here knows, we are at, we have a lot of amazing members and a lot of amazing graduates. And I'm going to be sharing contacts when relevant because they focus on senior level roles, but long term, this is the path where we're looking at, where we have partners that are helping us with interns, that are helping us with entry-level talent, but we also have people that are looking for those top high flyers. So if you're in there, she's here. Definitely we're gonna find ways to connect. So before I move on, I can handle some of these questions myself, actually. So for everybody in the chat, hang on, I'm coming right back to you. But Nora, do you want to leave us with any amazing words, or more amazing words? They're loving your metaphors. Maybe you should have been a rapper. I don't know. You got bars.
No, it is. What is super important. I really mean it, because sometimes you always look what others they do wrong, but this is a time the employment is you spend so much time with your employment. It's more than time with your family, with your kids, with your wife, with your husband. So this you can't play around with. So if you want to go in a field which you're really interested in, then go for it. And accept also
Hello.
that a lot of sorry. You will have to accept you will get a lot of no's. But if this is your dream, you just have to stick to it. And you get one chance. You will always hear a lot of no's before you hear one yes, that you really have to know. And don't get demotivated because one recruiter said no to you. There will be someone who will say yes to you, and then you can build up your career. But you need to believe in yourself. That is super, super important. If that is really your dream, then if it's your passion, you will become successful. That is guaranteed.
Amen. Thank you very, very, very much. I appreciate you today. So those are the final words. Again, thank you so, so much for being with us today. And I look forward to this community growing and getting more experience. And again, we're going to be your pipeline for senior level talent. So I hope you keep us on your radar as well. So thank you again, Nora.
Okay, pleasure. Goodbye. Bye.
Bye. All right, all right, all right. So for me, I'm out here, I'm in the streets. I'm out here with y'all. So there are a couple of different questions that I'm just going to touch on now. This should be the time where I guess we wrap up. But again, I'm here for y'all and I'm willing to stay and do a little bit of overtime to make sure we get this thing done. So if you have any questions, keep the questions coming. I'll answer them as long as you give them within reason, because I know some of y'all are about that life. So let's see, where are the next questions? So Justine said, I am challenged. I graduated in 2018. I worked as a sales agent in 2019 and as a finance intern in 2020. Well, okay, I don't want to go into too much, but she's been doing online writing and feels that research is what she needs to focus on. Should she scratch off everything else from her resume and start afresh to apply for a research internship roles? I would say that technically for internship roles and different things like that, if we go back to what Ifeoma said with Tambourine, is that you can get away with a one-page resume. I think when you're applying for an intern position, there's an understanding that you may not have all the necessary skills to do it, and that you're really coming there to not only learn, but find your own way to provide value. So I wouldn't say you'd have to scrap it from an internship role. I think that allowing the person to see what experience you have will also teach them how they can use you. So that means they would understand how you could provide value to their company while you're interning and learning how to provide the actual experience or the actual type of skill sets that they want. And with that being said, also, what I need you guys to realize and understand is the term that is called transferable skills. And again, from what was said by Ifeoma, that, well, let me say this. Transferable skills basically is if you're looking at the job roles, and again, from what she said with Tambourine, you're creating a different resume for each position. And there are certain skills that make sense in different spaces, and it's how you word it that will help it fit. For example, I worked with Ingressive. During my first interview, Maya asked me, how would I describe what an API is? I still can't really remember what an API even stands for, but when I Googled it during the interview and looked it up, I saw that an API was the same thing from a sector that I did understand, which is the restaurant space, which is mise en place. That is French for everything in its place. So mise en place in the kitchen is making sure that you have all the tools, you have all the ingredients, you have everything you need to basically create the food that's on the menu or to create original dishes. An API to me was very similar. So I said, I don't have experience in tech, but from what I'm seeing, an API is similar to what it's used for in this space. I was able to transfer and help understand how those things are connected. So even though I didn't work in this space, I helped her understand that I built in skills that would still be relevant in the new space. So again, just look at how you're wording things. Things that you've done in a previous sector may be relevant in a completely different sector. Again, just keep in mind, a lot of times people use specific jargon for an industry that may mean the same thing as a different word in another industry. So again, don't cheat yourself, don't cheat your experience, look at what you've done and see how it compares and how it's relevant for where you want to go. So I hope that helps you out, Justine. Oluwatosin, how do you handle bad organizational culture in a place that does not create a healthy and stimulating free environment to work in, which kind of limits, that limits employee performance? There's two things, right? So I know that there's the 2-year mark and different things like that, but at the end of the day, you are responsible for your mental health. You're responsible for the environment that you're in. And I think that the first thing that you have to have when you're working in not so good organizational culture is you have to have a strong mindset. What you'll find is that there are certain people, we've all seen certain people in our job lives where that person, you feel like that person may be too good for the role, or they may be doing too much depending on where you are. If you're comfortable and you don't want to do extra work and you see somebody over there overworking, they're making you look bad. And in certain cases, that can change the work culture. So don't sell yourself short. Don't cheat yourself out of thinking that you don't necessarily have the capacity to change work culture. Now, I'm not saying you can do it or whatever, or it's just that easy and that simple. I'm just saying, don't consider the fact that, don't forget to consider that you can also contribute to work culture. And just have that strong mental place where you're able to push your way through. Because at the end of the day, you can't tell the employer that you're just there for the money, but at the end of the day, you are there for the money. So you got to be strong. Sometimes you got to bite down and power through, and just make sure that that job is not putting you in a negative mental space that's affecting you in other spaces. I always tell people, don't take this job personal. Companies, in most cases, we're amazing with Ingressive for Good. We're like a family, but in most cases, that job is there to fulfill their bottom line, which is to get money and make profit, which doesn't always consider the individual. So understand where you are and how that impacts you. Do the best you can. But also at the end of the day, do what's best for you. Let's see, BO, I'm not sure if I should post all. She has changed jobs 3 years. Could this be because she has attained that at a certain level? Again, I used to hop jobs a lot, but I also knew that I had no intentions on working for somebody long-term. I had no intentions on being an employee for the rest of my life. I always wanted to be a founder. My family are all entrepreneurs, so we believe in that. So it just kind of depends on your path. But if you want to jump around with jobs, just make sure you have a history of impact and that you're able to clearly write out what impact you have on a company. Because if you tell me you can come to my company and make me $1 million in 3 months, and I can prove that you can do that, please come, I accept you for 3 months. And when you're done, I'll hug you, thank you, on to the rest. But you have to be a rock star if you want to jump around in jobs. You have to be a rock star. All right, so let me say that part. Let's see, please, how can you draft, this one is, okay, I don't want to mess up somebody's name. How can you draft your CV if you want to switch to a new career? Again, that touches on what I said before. Just make sure you know what your transferable skills are and how to position those roles to make people believe that what you want to do, you technically have experience, but just in a different capacity. Transferable skills. Okay, let's see, what else? What if you resume an organization and reality differs from expectations? What if there are several staff in your department stuck on a level, not promoting? You got to do your homework. You got to look inside these companies. Look, time is the most valuable thing you have in your life. You should never waste your time. You should never waste your time. And a great way to make sure that you don't waste your time is to do research on where you're going to be spending your time. Nora touched on this. When you're working, at jobs, you're spending your time, you're there, oftentimes you spend more time there than you spend with your family. So again, you have to make sure that that is a great use of your time. What I always say internally to people is that if I lose my money, I can make money back. I cannot, once I lose my time, it's gone forever. So I've been in spaces where even jobs that I know would allow me to work less, but pay me less, I'll take them because they gives me more time to use for other things. And I don't waste time. So I know that the more time I have, I'm just going to create more value. So I would say the best way to say, what should you do? I mean, if you're in there, you're kind of in there and you got to fight your way through. You got to find ways to shine. You got to find ways to separate yourself. People here in Nigeria, I find, are quite sentimental. In the US, workforce is cutthroat. If I can take you down by proving I'm better than you, that's what I'm going to do. And that's not that way here. And I'm not trying to say you guys should be so cutthroat, but you do need to shine. If you want to make sure you get promoted, because I've been working with people where I've been hurt. I've had my feelings hurt where somebody came in in my position after me and got promoted before me. It is what it is. Don't forget about office politics. Play the game and play the game to win. Office politics are real. Office politics are real. All right. Let's see. I think that's, and somebody says they want to transition into data analysis. Data is the new oil. Transition. Do it. Learn it. Figure it out. Somebody says they would love an accountability partner with a data analyst journey. We have we're now finishing up one of our 1,000 Women in Data programs. So I would say reach out to the Ingressive community and find somebody that's participating in that program. I think that would be a great way to find that out. So that was the last question. So again, thank you everybody for coming here. I was more than happy to put in a little bit of overtime to answer those questions. Sunday, 2 p.m. we're having HackFest, right? It's going down. It's gonna be lit. We're having contests. We're having more people kind of jump in on a panel, and that panel is going to be focused on what does the future of work look like. Again, the future of work is changing. Oh, if we're looking at the metaverse, if we're looking at NFTs, blockchain, cryptocurrency, if there's all these different things that's changing the landscape, Web3, like there's so many different things, 5G, Internet of Things, like this tech space is changing. So they're gonna come in and address us and give us a bit more insight into how do we prepare for this new workspace, right? Also, we're having our first I4G Tech Award ceremony. So basically it's more so we're gonna have some interesting awards internally. So you're gonna see what we're rewarding ourselves for. So you can see us take some shots at ourselves. Fauzi's going to be the one running that one. I love Fauzi. Fauzi's so awesome. But again, this is gonna be the space where they're gonna give you a bit more insight into how we're going to nominate people, what are the different spaces where we can kind of identify people that we want to see be awarded and recognized in the tech space. Again, Ingressive for Good is growing into a community of over 100,000 people. As we continue to grow and as we continue to pay attention, when we start awarding people, when we start saying this person did good or this person or whatever, it's going to bring attention. And we need to bring attention to us, and we need to let people know that you need to pay attention to what Ingressive for Good is doing, because we are the future of tech. We are the gateway to African technology. I'm muting you. With that being said as well, again, that's happening Sunday, starts at 2 p.m. So we have that, we have the people from our job fair. It's a virtual job fair. Mostly it's the panel. Again, we're just going to give you some insight. A lot of this job fair stuff is happening offline. So again, if you're a graduate of our programs, make sure that you filled out the form, go to the website to make sure you have access. And yes, Rainey is going to be virtual. You know, this COVID Omicron is lit. I don't want no parts of that. So we're going to make sure we're doing things virtual for a little bit longer. We wanted to meet people face to face, but I don't want to meet the hospital. So you know how that goes. So again, virtual panel focus on the job skills. Somebody said so we're doing the tech awards, and then we're also going to be recognizing the winners, or we're going to select our winner from the HackFest for the hackathon that we did. So again, shout out to our sponsors, Mono, shout out to our sponsors, Team Apt, and also soon, whoever knows how to do NFTs, holler at me. I want to start doing those things internally and creating our own digital assets. But as it stands now, we got the physical thing. So if you want to buy your shirt to commemorate the moment, I've just shared the link in the chat again. If you go there and buy it, they'll drop it off at your doorstep. If you order it soon enough, you may have time to be fresh for the show when it happens on the hackathon. So I'll stop talking to y'all because some people may think I like the sound of my voice if I keep going for too far. But again, thank you for coming in today. I hope everybody picked up and learned something that they can use. And I want to make sure we see every last single one of you on Sunday. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell the strangers that you know that may want to have a career in technology, that may want to upskill, that may want to find job opportunities. Again, we have located up to, between our partners and us scouring the internet, almost 500 jobs that we're going to be able to place people in. So stick with us. We're gonna create some opportunities. So with that being said, somebody liked the sound of my voice. I like it too, Rainey. With that being said, thank you so much. Again, one band, one sound. We're all together. This is a community. This is a movement. We can achieve more together. And I hope you just continue to follow us. Pick us up on social media, I4G, Twitter, all those different places. And again, we look forward to connecting with you and continuing to connect with you guys. 2022 is going to be lit. All right, guys, thank you very much. Y'all have a great evening. I'm just gonna chill for a second. I'll wait for y'all to leave, but I'm done. Anybody else have any questions, concerns? I'm in these chats.
Hi. Hello. Good
Hello.
evening.
Good evening.
So I'm currently in Sweden doing my master's.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there any chance I could? I'm actually studying strategic communication. I've worked in Nigeria for a while, customer service, then to branding. But right now I'm trying to also add something software to it, but I can't combine that because I just had a baby. But I'm just trying to get a job around my prior experience, the branding, the customer service for now, just so I could keep myself busy.
But you know, there's branding and customer service in the tech space as well. I think that if that's something that you're truly interested in, look at what skills, again, transferable skills. I didn't come from the tech space, but I'm in the tech space now. So, and it's because I have an operational background, there's no company that doesn't benefit from having a strong operational foundation. So that's why I'm relevant, even though I can't code. So you have skill sets that transfer over. I think it's just for you to figure out which space you want to go in and try to find jobs in that space.
Okay, thank you so much.
No worries. How do we reach out to I4G concerning data science? Do you have any data science mentors? I think there's like hello@ingressive.org. There's our social media platforms. Reach out to us. There's going to be somebody there. Now, we get inundated when we launch programs, so sometimes things get lost. But I would say reach out to us on our platforms, because we're definitely looking at launching mentorship programs, and we still have our relationship in 2022 with DataCamp. So you'll potentially be able to register and take advantage of some of the courses there. That is to Chidera. Thank you. Shipping anywhere for free for the shirt. I don't think it's shipping anywhere for free, but I think for the price that we have the shirt at, the shipping is included. Please send the links to the social media platform. You want me to do all this work? Oluwafemi, you thought you could get away with this by sending me a direct message? Bro, you Google Ingressive for Good, you will find our platforms. Sorry, I don't want to put too much stress, but I want to make sure I'm paying attention. Stop, don't direct message me, put it out there for the world so everybody can see it. All right, thank you. Any more questions? Anything else? Yes, Ingressive for Good, thank you. Thank you, Blessing. If anybody does not know Blessing, y'all are asleep in this world. Blessing is one of the most effective and passionate.
Hello, I have a question, sir.
Go ahead. Let me hear this question. Okay, somebody said they had a question. Somebody said, I am a beneficiary of the 1,000 Women in Data course. Have you finished the course or not? If you finish the course and you have the certificate, I actually want to add you into our job pool, because some of those jobs that I mentioned, data science or data analyst was one of the roles mentioned. So once you graduate, our next goal is to get you hired. Ingressive for good lives and dies by the mantra. Okay, I can't say Ingressive for good. I made this.
Good evening.
I believe that training for the sake of training or learning for the sake of learning is not engaging. It's not sustainable. It needs to be connected to a monetizable skill where you can make money. So we are focused on trying to connect people who graduate from our programs to jobs. That's actually why we're having this entire thing that we're having today. That's why I'm sticking around here and putting in overtime, because this is what we're doing. I4G is all over Africa. Yes, we are. Thanks for making you apply for the HNG. We didn't make you, but I'm glad that you did it. DevOps, there's some open DevOps roles in a sense. So please make sure if you graduated that you fill out the form. You should have received it in the newsletter. If not, reach out to me on one of our social media platforms so I can make sure you're on that list. Blessing, yes, you will hear Blessing's name everywhere because she's a rock star. She's a rock star and a superstar. Yes, shipping is not free. She hasn't graduated, still on it. Okay, so there, somebody was saying something. If you were saying something, go ahead, jump in now.
Good evening,
so I have a question.
One at a time, one at a time. Pick your poison.
Okay, my name is Jude, and I just graduated a couple months back. And thing is, during school, I was involved in coding, and I'd say I touched a bit of PHP and JavaScript. I didn't go too deep, but along the line, I went further into Angular. And right now, I feel like I've not done enough for a company to hire me per se. But at the same time, I feel like I don't see why they should hire me. Honestly speaking, I don't know if it's just the imposter syndrome or what exactly, but I just don't feel like I know enough. At the same time, I'm not sure how to put my CV, if I should be going in and if I should be asking for an internship position or what exactly I should be asking for. So it's really put me in a tough spot for a while now.
I would say put yourself in the employer's position and try to envision like how they would or could use you. And speaking to confidence, if you don't feel confident that you're ready and you're being honest with yourself, it's probably because you're not ready. And that means if you're not ready, you need to get ready. So again, I know we need to get money. We got to eat. Food is not free. Like, let's not not even getting into all the other intricate parts of life. Food itself is not free. So we have to work. But I would say, do not try to force yourself into working with something that you're not going to be good at or that you don't know. Because the issue is that the people who are getting hired by stretching their resumes, that are making things up, not doing what they said, they have gaps in their learning paths and different things like that where they end up not performing well at their job. That's a major complaint for employers. That's why Ingressive for Good is going to stand out, and why I'm also telling people don't apply to jobs if you're not ready. What you're going to end up doing is messing up the pipeline for everybody else. If we're placing people who are not skilled and talented enough to do what they said that they can do, it's going to be a problem for everybody else. So again, for everybody, if you want a job, but you don't have the skills and you know you don't have the skills, go and learn the skills first. Focus on acquiring the skills. Focus on committing yourself to the future that you want to see before you start trying to live in that space. All right. That's what I have.
Good evening, Mr. Sean.
Go ahead. Good evening.
Representing I4G Aboard Circle.
In the building, I4G Circles. What's up? How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Awesome. I guess I want to give you guys a prize. Are you the ambassador for that program?
Yes, sir.
Reach out to me on the Doors group. You're on the Doors WhatsApp group, right?
Yes, sir.
Reach out to me. I want to do something with y'all. I'll see what we can do. I like it when the I4G circles show up and show out. We need to be visible when you guys in the future, especially for you ambassadors, what you guys are is the tip of the spear, right? So what you're actively doing is ensuring that people that are passing through your school, passing through your gateway, are stepping out into this world more prepared and better, being stronger candidates for the job space, right? So in that space, I want to make sure that you guys are loud, you're showing yourself, and when somebody says I came from I4G, that they know what you mean, they know what you're talking about. So thank you again for showing up on here. Thank you again for again being visible. I think I even saw your I thought I saw your social media picture for your school link. But anyway, thank you for showing. Did you have a question, or are you just shouting yourself out? I'm fine with either one.
Yeah, I was shouting myself out, and also to say thank you, and that I'm a beneficiary of the I4G 30 Days of Design Challenge and the Zuri training and the ambassador program and the soft skills certification and more to come.
You see this guy? You see this? Just taking advantage of everything, double dipping, making that portfolio and that CV and that resume look lit. That's why we're doing a lot of these different programs, so you can have introductions and exposures to so many different things. Thank you again for that one. I appreciate you. And the shout out was well received. Any mentorship program for project or product management? The interesting part is program and product management, or program and project management, are not as available as the other skill sets. So we are working, Blessing has been making sure that we stop playing around and get some product stuff. So we're actually, there are some things in the pipeline. So not just right now is there something concrete that I can speak on, but there are some things in the pipeline coming. So thank you for that question, Adeyemi. Felicia.
Hi.
Uh-oh. Go ahead. What you got?
Okay, it's me again. I'd like to ask if there's currently maybe some mentorship program for maybe full stack or probably back-end development, software development currently available that you could point us to.
So when you say mentorship, I would say that there are two ways to look at mentorship. So we have created this network that we have. Jane, I'm coming to you next. Look at your community as fellow resources in this space that you can ask questions. So we have our Telegram group. We have a couple of different Slack channels where there are some people with different levels of experience, and then people in your network where you could actually reach out to them and ask them to connect you with somebody. And then us for 2022, we are looking at trying to have a better functioning mentorship program. We launched it under the pilot program, a very, very small one, but we want to do something a bit more comprehensive, so to speak, in 2022. But again, we're putting some of those things together internally. Blessing said we may have a gift before the end of the year for program managers, so follow I4G on social media. I'm about to refollow. I'm about to make a fake, never mind, let me not give anybody any bad habits. I'm already following. Product, yes, product managers. So, Jane, you have a question? I see you with your hand up. Jane, you still there? Or you just raised your hand and walked off? Okay, we're fine then. I'm gonna lower your hand. Put it back up if you got something to say. Anybody else have any questions, comments, or concerns? What is I4G's take on machine learning? I love machine learning. I'm thinking that the thing is, like, you can't be all things to all people, and you can't spread yourself too thin. But machine learning is technically, from where I'm sitting, a part of the whole data science, data analytics, and a part of that whole thing where we're saying data is the new oil. One of the major components in that engine that oil is going. Well, the major component in this thing is going to be machine learning. So we try to focus right now on 5 core areas. I think machine learning is something that you'll learn under the data track. inherently, but it's not like it's a major specific focus on machine learning. So I would say we're focused on kind of introducing people to certain skill sets and getting them to a certain level. And then what you'll find is that there's no, all the information is on the internet, and that we are pushing to always find additional learning resources to connect you guys with. So as we get that, if I come across something that's of standard that I agree with, or that somebody who actually knows tech, let me say it that way. If anybody has, if we come across some resources on machine learning that we feel is good, reputable, that will end up in like a certification, a monetizable skill set or something like that, we'll definitely release it to the community. Between now and then, again, y'all, the resource information is not really hidden again. There's a lot of information. The problem is when you're trying to find things on the internet is that you don't always have that person you can ask a question, or you don't always have that support. So I would say the information is there. I'll leave it to you to find it until we provide it. But the information exists. And I would just say, look and try to see if you can find something. Toya say, I see you with your hands up. Go ahead. You wanna ask a question?
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, I want to know, is Ingressive for Good only targeted among campuses, or is basically for anyone? I mean the I4G circles and the likes.
Okay, so you have basically three major core groups in Ingressive for Good. So you have I4G circles, which is the tip of the spear in the second iteration of where we started, which is primarily hinged upon Ingressive campus ambassadors. The second group we have is people who participate in our programs and graduate from those programs. That's I4G alumni, right? And then you have the general I4G network. You like us, you follow us on social media, you're looking for your opportunity to get a scholarship, a laptop, data, something like that. You want to participate in our webinars and different things like that. That's the I4G network. So those are the three different communities, but we're open to anybody and everybody within the well, we're open to African youth who want a career.
What of like people that just want to put the opportunities out there, like how would I say, local ambassadors, kind of?
So you
probably
ask me the question again. Let me make sure I get you.
Like what about people, probably people in tech that wants to leverage on the outreachiness of I4G to bring in local communities, probably people that are in, let's say, indigent or something, people that don't have enough resources to do the online courses and the likes.
Okay, so yeah, we have different courses that are not just available. We have all types of resources. So we have different tracks, but we have things that are available for so many different people. So yeah, it's not just the campus community. We love our campus community, and we love these ambassadors because our ambassadors do a lot of heavy lifting and a lot of work. And as it stands now, we're not really compensating them with money. So what I'm doing now is doing what we can afford. Is I'm showering them with compliments, letting them know I love them, I love what they're doing, and how they're just amazing. Our campus ambassadors are amazing. So if somebody else wants to be amazing like our campus ambassadors, I have no problems with that. We don't have a specific system set up for them. But reach out to us on social media if you want to connect us to somebody, if you want to help us grow this community and do amazing things in our community, like us helping us, Africans supporting Africans and building more opportunities for us. I'm down for that 100% all day, every day.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. So Chidera said, which form is she to fill out? Chidera, are you a graduate of our program, any of our programs? If you're a graduate, you should have received an email or a newsletter that gave you the links. If not, let me see. Hold on, give me 1 second. It's Chidera, Chidera. Okay, it's only giving me, okay, let me go with this here. I hope I'm sending this to the right person. Okay, so I've sent a message to Chidera. I hope you get it. Any more questions? Mubarak, you have a question. What's up? I'm here for you.
Hello, good evening. I don't know what time it is that we're in the evening here. My question is, I took a Zuri course. Then I took UI UX design, but I did not finish it. So I was hoping that there would be an opportunity for me to go back and finish it, or if if that one is closed, if there's another opportunity wherein I can take that course again and now finish it. That's, I don't know if it's possible.
Number one, okay, thank you, Blessing. Blessing handled it already. Okay, perfect. Number one, we love Zuri. I love Shay is amazing. He's the one running Zuri. Mark Essien, that whole tree of technical talent development and tech people doing amazing stuff. We love them. So I'm looking for any and every opportunity to continue our long-term relationship. Actually, Mark is one of Ingressive for Good's board members. So we will be continuing to work with them. There will be another opportunity for you to do that. So just keep posted and look for details. And we'll be able to allow you to get a second swing, but you're starting over, right? So it's not like you're going to come in from where you left off. You're going to jump in there and start this thing again, and hopefully you're going to finish it this time. All right. All right. So, So somebody's sharing, so we're about to share a couple of links with you guys for the job form. We're about to, I have too many things open. I lost my Zoom page. Also, the nominations for our awards tech show is about to open up. I think somebody's about to share the link in the chat. So I guess wait a few minutes for that one. We have some more information loading. Since we have you here, we might as well do the most. But while we're waiting for them to drop this information, does anybody else have any questions, comments, or concerns? Catch me while you're here. Oh, never mind. That was an old message. Okay, I'm just making sure that the chats from our team on WhatsApp are being handled here. All right, Alexis, you have a question. John Alexis, what you got regarding our? Okay, you wanted us. What's going on? What you got? Alexis, if you're okay. My members would love to get swags. I think we're sharing some swags and different stuff soon. I would say, you can buy them. So I'll be honest with you, John. Some of the stuff we do is a function of how much money we have on ground, how much money we're able to raise. And for us, we've been focusing most of our funding on trying to get more training, more access to resources. Like, I love swag. I think swag is amazing. It's great to be able to put us on and share stuff, but I'm more passionate about connecting people to opportunities to learn, upskill, and get placed into jobs. We are looking at a different way. I think Blessing sharing different information in the chat. So that's one way that you can get it. We're looking at doing a couple of different things with the chat. So John, if you want to get some swag, I'd also say make sure you're at HackFest21 on Sunday, because I know there'll be some opportunities there to get some swag from the different contests and things that we'll be running as well. So show up there, show out, and then maybe that's an opportunity. And then, yeah, you can buy it if there's that part. You wouldn't miss it for the world. I appreciate you. And also there's campus ambassadors, but you don't need to be on campus to be an ambassador. If you like what we do, and share it, tell somebody, bring people onto the platform. Again, we want to be moving as an organized unit. A lot of people out here are fighting and pushing and trying to do amazing things, but they're trying to do it by themselves. Ingressive, we're not trying to do it by ourselves. We're trying to take the power of community and use that to change the world, and use that to have leverage, and use that to be able to kind of push and change things, right? So be a part of the community. You don't have to do all these things by yourself. You don't have to fight and push and do all that stuff. We can fight and push for you too, and we can fight and push together. He already pre-ordered. Man, I like John. John's a real MVP out here. You the real MVP, bro. Share that link with other people in case you want to get it. I know next year we're going to be doing an NFT. So I know that we're going to be sharing some digital assets and different things. If the metaverse is there, we're going to have I4G City in the metaverse or something. I don't know, but we need to make sure we got our own thing going on. You love this, you just found your family. We definitely are a family. Again, that's the only way to move forward. It does not benefit us the way the world is trying to treat this African continent, to try to be out there by ourselves. A lot of people are trying to buy into other people's models. A lot of people are moving. Japa is real. They want to go to the US, Europe, and all these places. But I will say this, if all the great, talented people with resources and intellect and different things among us are killing themselves to move to a different country in a different place, where does that leave us? You know? So let's just keep that in mind. So with that being said, I'm about to drop, yes, that's going to be as DP into the world is. Faux life. Thank you to Paulina. The website, Osaka, Damilola, you said the website for what? Tell me what you want the website for. This is going to be the last thing I answer. I'm just going to give you the website to our website. That's all I got, everybody. Oh, the pre-order. Nice one. Please, y'all, share that website link. And with that one being said, I'm going to actually drop off. I noticed I got people from my team hanging on because I'm running my mouth. So let me let everybody have peace in this life and drop off. Again, thank you all. Y'all stay engaged, stay blessed, stay connected, and keep following us so we know all that's going on. One more shout out to the amazing Blessing. Thank you so much for having my back on this chat, handling things, holding it down. Y'all have a great evening, and that's all I got. Thank you. Peace.